You have to be the client that wants to check the boxes and wants to get it. Because if you're just like, oh, I want this, but you're not willing to put in the work, nothing's going to change.
Exactly.
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
So if your coach tells you to do something and you're just like, that's not something I ever do, maybe that's why you're always not working. Boss bitch. Boss bitch.
Why are we here? What are we talking about?
Apparently, people want to hear about the cut.
The cut that is not cutting.
I mean, it's cutting.
It's cutting. Fine. Okay. So let's get started. We ran a poll on stories, her stories and my stories. I gave some options of some things that we could podcast about today. And an overwhelming amount of you chose that you wanted to know what our current fitness stuff is, our health, I guess.
57%.
50%. Yeah.
57% out of 4.
Mine was pretty, yeah. And you had yours too. So
yeah.
I don't feel like we're that really interesting, but we will share all the things. There are no secrets between us boss bitches.
Yeah, let's be honest. Like, we're kind of just living life a little bit.
Yeah. And like not being assholes. Like sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes.
So we kind of were like, okay, summer's coming. You know, let's talk about me first.
Let's go.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. I think this is probably going to maybe hurt some feelings.
Fuck your feelings.
That's the shirt I wore today.
I know.
But okay, so in January, it's like, all right, we should probably start cleaning it up, especially if we want to compete this year. I was like, I refuse to be eating fish on my birthday this year.
Yes.
I refuse. So that meant that June and July was not happening, which are the local shows that we usually hit. So we were pushing more towards October, November time. Which is great. So what was going to happen is we were looking for like a midway weight loss goal.
Yes.
And you had one for you and I had one for me. Okay.
Let's talk about how that's going.
It's going really well. So I'm basically we're 3 weeks out. I'm 5 pounds above my goal weight.
Yeah.
You wanted me to be 145.
Well, I got to shoot for the moon.
You do
and
all the
land
time.
on the stars. Is that like a saying? I don't know. I feel like I just made that up, but it's fine.
However,
I'm sure somebody more important came up with that. But yes.
So I'm working really hard. I'm training in the gym. You know, with my training, there's one thing that's kind of been holding me back a little bit. So I know I've shared a lot about Accutane and that being in, you know, what I'm doing right now, just because my acne had gotten so bad, you know, and it is doing amazing. However, I don't want to say that like Accutane is your go-to. This is something that I've been thinking about for a lot of years. And then it's like a last resort at this point. So with that being said, as the Accutane dose gets higher, the huge side effect is joint pain. Okay. And that is like rough on somebody who wants to go into the gym and be able to hit a lot of weight. So I've really had to scale back my weights on my like squats, anything that's spine loaded. So typically, if you guys go back a little bit, a couple months ago, I was squatting 235 for, I don't know, like 4 to 6 reps, something like that. And we were in the gym the other day. I did 155. Mm-hmm. So I'm honoring my body and making sure that I'm not trying to break anything. And it's holding it back. I'm doing my cardio. So if we start talking about from where we were in January to now, I'm down 15 pounds.
That's amazing.
It's great.
Hip, hip,
I'm like super excited. My body's super changed. You know, I feel really comfortable, like more comfortable in my body. Could I be leaner? Yeah. But this is something that we've really been kind of like talking about lately. Like, is those last little 5 pounds worth it to you to, you know, not be able to go out to dinner with your husband?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, and I'm still eating really well. I'm also having, you know, 2 to 5 drinks a week, which is probably a lot. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's none. Sometimes we go out twice in a weekend and it's a couple each day. But, you know, I think I've really done it the lifestyle way, and I'm pretty excited about kind of going to Vegas, which was our first milestone.
Yeah.
So 3 more weeks and
are we going to tell them why we're going to Vegas?
Yeah.
Why are we going to Vegas, Amanda?
Apparently, we're going to a party.
Oh, what kind of party?
It's it's a lifestyle party. All
Your
right.
husband's watching, so I mean, I was there when he gave you permission.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
So it's a lifestyle party. But what I'm going to tell you right now. So one thing that I really wanted to do growing up was go to the exotic erotic ball. I don't know if you guys know exactly what that is.
That is a hella old school
I
shit,
know.
But yes.
I never got to go.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like
it kind of
another option to go.
It is a little bit of that.
If you guys know me from like super back in the day, I was like a huge raver. I raved for a lot of years, and
you were the original
I was
fist
fun.
pumper.
I had a great time at it. So, I just like to dance, and we like to party a little bit. So, we're
like
going
adult activities
to party. It'll be a good time.
Yeah. So people want to know, you've lost 15 pounds since January.
Yeah.
What does that look like? Like, what,
how much
everybody,
cardio
okay,
are you doing?
let's just get real granular. Like everybody wants to know, like, how tall are you?
Oh.
How old are you?
Okay. I'm 5'3". I'm 37 as of 2 weeks ago.
5 foot, not 5 foot 3.
5 foot and 3/4 inches.
Yes. So not even 5'1".
Not even 5'1" yet. No. I'm 37. I weigh 155 pounds.
Yeah. When you started, we were
170.
Both, yeah.
Yeah, we were both tipping the scale.
Yeah, we were having some good times. But this is kind of like, I feel like fat loss needs to be in seasons. And I've been saying this for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think forever fat loss should be a thing, even if you have a lot of body fat to lose. It's not healthy. It's not sustainable. It's not realistic. And I did it for too long. And so I'm like, don't do that. Okay.
Right.
For me, my strategy, at least for myself, and I think we kind of have adapted the same mindset, is that I personally, when I'm in prep and getting ready and stage lean, or even like in a little cut like we are now,
yeah,
I'm not interested in doing that in the wintertime.
Heck no.
Like, I don't know. My body's covered up. It's raining. It's cold. It's snuggly season. And like, I'm fine putting on a little more weight in the wintertime.
Yeah.
It doesn't freak me out because I'm like, when the weather changes, naturally our appetites usually tend to, diminish a little bit. We're outdoor doing more activities. You're just more active naturally by the sake of the weather and the season changing. So for me in California, I'm like, I'm not trying to diet like September through February, like January,
Dude,
February, really.
Seriously, like Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that.
So it's not to say that like we go completely ham during those times, but like we'll go out to eat a little bit more, there's little treats here and there or whatever. And I'm not like making these stringent like choices like I do during the summertime when I know like I'm going to be in a bikini. So I'm going to tighten some things up. Right.
Yeah.
So backtracking a little bit, what did you do for cardio? Right.
So this has been like since January, guys. So we've been working on this for a while. We started really easy. It was like, I don't know 3 days of cardio.
Right.
I've never stopped training. That's not something that we do. We just train because that's what we do. Also, I'm in a gym 8 hours a day. If I don't train myself, I feel like a poser.
Yeah.
But
right.
Training anywhere from 5 to 6 days a week, that's always there. We started at like 3 days a week and we gradually work it up. Okay. So the thing being is you have to make a deficit somewhere, right? So whether it be my food or my cardio. So whichever one we kind of like tapered it up or down depending on what it needed to be that week. So sometimes it was food, sometimes cardio was going up, sometimes it was minutes, sometimes it was days. So as of right now, technically, I'm getting about 5 days of stair mill, 200 floors. Okay, it's taking me about 40 minutes. I get 100 floors in 20 minutes. And then training, my split is probably 4 to 5 days.
Yeah.
I'm training a lot of lower body. I'm not hitting all the upper bodies, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not my focus right now.
So somebody asked what you did for cardio. So we kind of
done
mix
all
it
kinds
up.
of things.
We have different preferences. This one likes to die on the spin bike.
I love spin class. I've been like training in the studio this like last couple of weeks, so I haven't been able to, but I was doing 2 days of spin and I was doing 3 days of stairs. And so the question being like, how much harder do I want to push for the Vegas vacation, right? In all honesty, I could do more, but is that 5 pounds worth
Right.
doing 2 cardios a day, eating less calories than I already am? And as it is, I'm having a free meal every weekend. I'm still getting to have at least 2 drinks a week, which I think is great.
Yeah.
And then if we're talking about cardio, so spin class is amazing. I'm usually doing stair mill. If you guys ever see me on the stair mill, you're going to think I'm a fucking mad woman. Okay. So I play
Psychotic even.
I play crazy raver music in my head, in my earphones, and I go with the beat. So it's like a dance to me. So when the beat slows down, I slow down or I skip a step. And then when the beat goes fast, I try and keep my steps to the beat.
Who would take a stair mill class with Amanda? Raise your hand. Give me a hand emoji.
They do
in
not
the
want to
comments.
take a no.
I feel like you would you
I
on a
could do
stair
it,
mill,
though.
like you on a stair mill facing the stair mills.
I could do it.
Like, come on, ladies. You'd have like a headset on.
Sarah really wants me to be a spin instructor, but I'm not ready to add another thing to my my list of
yes. I'll have to go murder Sarah for trying to poach you too. I'll be like, no, she cannot.
So, basically, let's talk about food too.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. So where we started in January, food, if you can kind of remember-ish.
I think January was messy.
Yeah.
January was real messy. The last 3 months, I've definitely cleaned it up. So for me, I really like to, Fit Kitchen is amazing.
Yeah.
I am not the best meal prepper. When I'm in prep, it's different. That's a whole different mindset. So recently, as of the last couple of weeks that I think has been really working for me is obviously we're pretty low on macros during the week, but that makes room for, date night with my husband, which is making this actually a really good cut to where I don't feel like I'm starving. I'm not missing out on events. And it's just been really great. So I'm having egg white omelet in the morning. And the funny thing is I'm basically making this in the morning.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because I wake up at 4 a.m., but I think I've got it down pack. Yeah. However, I did notice if my hair looks good,
you didn't make breakfast.
I didn't make breakfast. But if my hair looks like this and we having a bad hair day.
You made breakfast.
I made breakfast.
Okay. Well, I think it's worth the sacrifice of a hair day. It's fine.
Yeah. And so, the other things is I'm very picky. I don't love chicken breast. It's not my favorite. I did cook it for last week and it's been fine. But, as it is, it's just basically protein for me to be able to go to the gym and not feel like I'm starving.
Yeah.
So that's chicken. The chicken's gone now. I've got low fat beef on deck right now. I either need to make some chicken breast or I need to go find some ground turkey. So there's a reason that I do ground stuff is because this one's how did you even meal prep anything? And I was like, okay, listen, I've got it down packed. While I'm doing something else, I'm also cooking beef. And then all I have to do is chop up my asparagus. I put it in a steamer thing and I steam it in the microwave. Mm-hmm. That's just chilling in the refrigerator. Whenever I need to measure it out, if I'm going to have a long day, that's what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll measure it out and then I'll have those just ready for the day. But everything else is bulk.
Yeah.
Everybody says crock pot. They gave me that option earlier and I was like, I don't like shredded chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Chicken thighs, I wish, but my fat grams are pretty low. Mm-hmm. So I don't get to do chicken thigh.
Okay. So we probably went from 2,200 calories-ish around January.
When I was tracking, but not on my fuck off days?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go with very loose, probably 80% on track situation.
Yes, totally.
To now, because again, ramping up your fat loss as we get closer, you're doing the things, but then they gradually get harder because your body adapts.
Yeah.
So we got to push to the next level of fat loss. And a lot of times we got to shake you out of that adaptation by trimming your calories, mm-hmm. which some clients are just they want more cardio. And for me as a coach, it's much easier. Trust me, I know not from a hunger perspective as an athlete or a client, but it's much easier to predict what's going to happen if I can take out food because I know I'm taking out a measurable quantity of calories, right? The body is it's so impossible to know that each individual human body is going to burn the same amount of calories on a machine. So if your coach is telling you, I'm going to pull food, I would rather pull food, and you're just no, give me more cardio, it's because it's an easier trackable measure of numbers,
but
right?
It's also less energy expenditure.
Yeah.
So you're going to be less hungry. You're going to be less tired.
Right. You're saying if you don't add more cardio.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. So calories are at about what, 14 something now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 14. And then on the weekends,
I'm eating well all day. And then I'm having pretty much one like cheat-ish meal, but it's still fairly healthful.
Yeah.
Okay. And then like even we went out the other day when we had our bad meal and I got fajitas.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's more of like just, being discerning on where you want to actually utilize your calories. Like if something, I think that's one of the perks of doing bodybuilding for so long is that you and I know, like I know we'll see something or we'll go to a party or we'll go somewhere and you're like, I'm not eating that. That's store-bought cupcakes. I'm like, yeah, not doing that.
Yeah.
Right. Like we're not going to just like eat some shit that's like, yeah, I could get down on a whole bag of family-sized Doritos, but like if I'm going to spend calories, I'm like, I'm not going to eat Doritos.
No.
Like I would rather have like some big elaborate like pizza from like the local Galettos
this is another thing too, right? Is what was it on my birthday? I ate hella good. I had a salad and a chicken skewer on my birthday night because I knew we were going to brunch the next day.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need to go crazy on dinner. I'm going to go crazy on brunch tomorrow. And I didn't even go that crazy. It was just a really good French toast.
Yeah. So this is a great conversation around lifestyle fat loss.
Yeah.
Like this is how I would not expect my clients, but like you have that autonomy to do those things, right? Like I have a photo shoot in 3 weeks.
Oh shit. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, so it's a maintainable approach. You're still going out, you're still dining out, you're having great food, you're having great company, and you're making it sustainable.
Right. So so this is kind of funny. So when I was in prep last year, this was about when we were pretty close to show. I think I did July.
Mm-hmm.
So as of right now, in reality, that goal would be like 10 pounds away from where I'm at right now. And I mean, I'd be feeling all right. And I'm not trying to step on a stage right now. So
yeah,
I'm doing good.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we're doing a fine job, right?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Okay, what else? So your steps are another thing. That's gone up a lot. A lot.
I'm busy. And I know that if you follow me on Instagram,
no one can keep up with you.
Yeah. And I don't want anybody to keep up with me, okay? I'm just a naturally energetic person anyways. I am also up at 4 a.m. and I am not in bed sitting and done until about 10, okay? And if I'm sitting in my computer, honestly, the longest I'm going to be sitting is probably about 4 hours.
Yeah.
So the rest of my day is all steps. Typically on a work day, like even right now, I have 17,000 steps.
Yeah.
And we've been in the pool for hours.
Right. Yeah. And so
sitting for hours.
Some of your days you get up in like well over 20,000s.
Yes.
So that's something you have to take into account too is, I get questions in the question box on, fat loss and how much cardio. And I'm like, I can't answer those.
How many steps?
Because
how many steps are you getting?
It's like, if I want to give somebody an idea of what their macros, somebody had asked like, what are the ideal macros for a woman? I'm like, I need to know so much about that woman.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
I need to know so much about that person. Any like woman, man, doesn't matter. Like I need to know so many things.
Like the one thing that you taught me in the beginning was like, if anybody ever tries to like just ask for macros, I am doing you a disservice by throwing macros at you and saying, here, hit these.
Right.
I have no idea what you're eating right now. I have no idea what your cardio is, how much you weigh, how tall you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could go on.
Right.
Yeah.
So your point is we have you track before so we have an idea, right? Yeah. And some clients get annoyed with us and I'm like, you're paying for pay attention.
Yeah.
Like we are doing this for a reason because, it doesn't make sense if we sign up Mrs. Jones and we just say, okay, this is what I want you to start at. Like, but we have no idea what you've been eating, right? Yeah. This could be a ton of food for you. This could make you feel ravenous. Like really, really depends. So if we have some data to go off of, when you first start, it's very helpful.
I have some clients that start in like the 2,500 range. And I have some clients that are like, I can barely eat 1,200 calories a day. And they're starting, and I'm like trying to get them to eat 1,200 calories a day.
Right. And imagine if you're like, okay, the average woman should be eating 1,600 calories, and she'd be like, no. She'd freak out.
I think my best offer to that question would be, you should at least be eating 100 grams of protein a day.
Yeah.
If you are not doing that, then we're already off to a bad start. Okay.
Right.
And if you don't know, bitch, track your food.
Unless you're under 100 pounds, but that's very, it's very rare to come upon.
Yes.
But yes, I mean, that's like a good, just like baseline rule of thumb. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
that's
so
the
many
best
factors.
option I can give you.
Do you
right
weight
now.
train? How many times a week do you weight train? Like all the things. So, okay. So yeah.
Did we forget
great.
anything else?
I don't think so.
I feel great. I got 3 weeks to continue on. I told her, like, this is my coach, right? So I check in. I told her, I said, listen, I'm not willing to do any more and I'm not willing to eat any less. So we're just going to see what happens. And would you do that to your coach? Absolutely not. But as my friend as well, she's not going to push me to do something that I'm not willing to do.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to do the work, there's no point in me making you try to do it.
Totally. And I think this is actually really good for competitors too, because I get to know my athletes, even though we don't like talk on the, like some of them I see in person at the studio, but like 90% of my clients.
We get a lot of information through check-ins.
Yes. And 90% of my clients I never see, right? We'll do we can do like a Zoom call or a check-in or something like that. But there isn't a lot of dialogue. It's all through screen, photos, videos, and check-ins. And so when I'm looking at them and I'm reading, because we ask a lot of questions and I can kind of discern their temperament based on the questions they have and the things that they're stressed about and the things that they're concerned about. And I know generally like who I can push a little bit harder because this is like we are going to do some things, and those where I'm like, I'm probably at my max limit with this person.
Right. Like they can't take on anymore. There's no way.
Right. So that's an important skill to hone in on as you're coaching people, but it's great that you have that discernment for yourself.
Yeah. Because
that's where I'm at now.
I mean, this is something I also said, and somebody said it really hit home, is I can't want your results more than you want them.
Right.
As your coach.
Right.
You have to be the client that wants to check the boxes and wants to get it. Because if you're just like, oh, I want this, but you're not willing to put in the work, nothing's going to change.
Exactly.
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
So if your coach tells you to do something and you're just like, that's not something I ever do, maybe that's why your way's not working.
That's a very good point.
Ouch.
I know.
Ugh.
I know. Trust me. I've been there. All right. So we're plugging along. Our little party's coming up.
Yeah.
We're great. We're having a great
time.
Okay. I fired my coach.
Shit.
Fucking love Nikki to the moon and back.
Listen.
And she did not a single solitary thing wrong. She was absolutely perfect.
She's the client that doesn't do the shit she's supposed to do.
Yeah. Hi, that's me.
Yeah.
Boss bitch. So we had a come to Jesus meeting. That's what we call them when I'm like, okay, here's the thing I realized about myself after I journaled. You hate on my journaling.
Yeah, I know.
But I realized that I'm doing fine with what I'm doing, and I don't want to do any more than I'm doing. Just like you said.
I feel like I've heard that before.
Yeah. Echo, there's a parrot in the room. And so it would be a waste of her time for me to continue checking in, and I'm doing like 80% of the things.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm just like, here, just go ahead and tell me some things even though I'm not doing the things, right?
Right.
It's not fair to her. It's a waste of, it's a waste of everybody's time.
Another reason why I told her is that I'm just checking in for me. You don't have to change anything because nothing's going to change.
Right. And so I think, just to be a little like transparent here and vulnerable, like there is a huge part of me for many years that has felt like I need to have somebody to be accountable to, to like walk the talk and do the things. But like, I trust myself, you know what I mean? And it's like, I clearly do this for hundreds of people and have done it for thousands of people, right? At this point, but it just feels good to have that like in my back pocket. Right. Like, okay, just so she can like tell me all the things. And I'm like, but I'm really not. It's just that security of knowing that I'm like paying for the thing. I hadn't checked in for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, I know.
And she's like, hello, knock, knock, knock on my inbox. Right. And it's just, I have zero plans or desires to compete again.
Right.
And not that that was something that we were working on or anything like that. But for me personally, somebody asked me yesterday, like, oh, you know, when you track macros, do you do it this way? And I'm like, I haven't tracked macros in 2 years.
Right. You just eat like a bodybuilder most of the time.
Yeah.
And then when you're ordering out, you know, sometimes you indulge, but most of the time you don't, honestly.
But not to get deep, but I'm going to get deep for a second.
Okay.
But I think because for 10 years, no, longer than that, of like being in this industry for myself personally and doing show after show after show, I haven't really been able to like trust my own like instincts with like my hunger and the things that like I'm feeling, because I've never really felt like I've had a grasp on like my appetite.
Right.
Since competing.
Yeah.
And so it's always been like, it's like a little security blanket that I'm like, okay, I'm just going to make sure that like I stay on track. And so for me, I'm like, I love my body right now. I fucking love it.
Actually, this is what I wanted to tell you earlier is that I was talking about you. I was not talking about you. Somebody was all, I just love Diane's body. And I was like, yeah, I know. And then I was like, it's pretty amazing. And she's like, yeah. And I was like, we kind of want to punch her in the face a little bit.
Oh my God, whatever.
She's like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's shape. It's all her shape.
Yeah. But it's been like, so I dropped down for the context of this story, right?
Yeah.
In January, we had been fucking off all winter, like
so
good bears in hibernation do.
Yeah.
Okay. They store up for the winter. They pack on all the muscle. And then in the spring, they melt, it melts away and they emerge skinnier bears.
A pretty little butterfly.
Yeah. But we had some fun and I was right at about 170 as well.
Which I think is funny because I think people probably don't realize that as we typically weigh about the same.
All the time.
Because we are the best and the worst influences on each other.
For sure. For sure. So I'm like, fuck, she's being good.
It's either, hey, when are you doing cardio? Or like, hey, you want to go to La P and get some tacos?
Yeah, exactly.
So it just depends on which one's on the shoulder.
For sure. Okay? For sure. So like I got down to, so anyways, I was tipping at around 170.
Right.
And it was less about the number for me. Like, yes, that's the heaviest I've been in probably like my adult life, not being pregnant or whatever, or like, just having a baby or whatever. And so I was just like, how do I feel about that? I kind of don't really like have feelings about that. I just am uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? Like
things were hard.
Things were harder. Tying my shoes was harder. Pants were like, remember when I was like, none of my pants fit me?
Yeah.
None. I was like,
I think that's when we get a little freaked out.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, my pants don't fit. Yeah. It's less about if I can get my skinny jeans on and they still have stretch and the seams aren't busting, like we're good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I know this whole like, just go buy new pants. But I'm like, it was more of like, I healthfully did not feel okay.
Right. But I mean, also, like, there's a point where you can't just go buy new pants. Okay.
Yeah. You're
like,
gonna keep buying new pants.
Stop that.
Right. Like we're getting to a point where it's just not healthy from a health perspective.
I mean, I think you probably still do. Maybe not as much now, but we both still have like a lot of sizes of clothes.
Yeah, for sure. There's a fluctuating arrangement.
Like, jeans are going to be a little bit bigger than, the shorts are.
Yes.
The shorts are going to be a smaller size because in the summer we lean out a little bit.
Correct. So with that, I was like, okay, something needs to give. Like your girl needs to do this. So the Goddess Body Project started. I'm like, I'm going to jump on the buzz of that. I'm going to just kind of get my head in the game and try to like post more of my workouts and like all the things. And like, we have clients in the studio doing it and all that fun stuff. So fast forward, and I'm working with Nikki and checking in and I'm just like getting frustrated because I'm like, I don't know if my body's changing, and she pulls up pictures and she shows me all the things.
Huge
and I'm like, oh, okay. Like I'm definitely seeing all the things happen. So for me, my goal was I would like to hit 155, but a funny thing happened. And probably 2 months ago, I got to 156. Right. And I was like, I looked in the mirror and I'm like, I'm not necessarily any more in love with this 156 than I was the 160.
Right.
Like I'm not like, ooh, those 4 pounds.
So you're telling me
I love you better.
The 4 pounds aren't worth it?
No. So I was like, okay, so do I keep just going or what? Because for me personally, and I know this is like probably a little bit of body dysmorphia speaking, but you tell me what you think.
Yeah.
When I'm in the process of like contest prep, there's always a spot of weeks where I'm like, I hate how I look.
Oh.
I'm like, it's a weird in-between spot. It's not like my curvy roundness, big juicy booty, big bouncy titties.
Yeah.
And it's not like beef jerky.
So
it's somewhere in the middle, and I just don't care for it. It's like
Right.
I lose the volume in my glutes. I don't know. I think that's the biggest thing. Like I see my backside disappear, and I'm like, ew, no. I want my ass to be big and juicy.
Right. Yeah. I have no love to like lose any of my butt.
No.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, so I hit that 156 and I was like, how do I feel about this? Do I feel the type of way like, cool, great. I got under 160, woohoo. But like, I'm looking at my body and I'm like, am I that much like, do I want to keep going? Like, no, it was not that big of a deal. Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have a new boo thing and we hang out and we go have nachos and like, it's our ritual and it's super fun. And we, you know, do all the things and have a couple drinks, and we've gone to Vegas. I've gone to Vegas back to back
Lots
weeks
of times. Yeah.
and lots of meals. And I wasn't trying to like diet on that trip, you know, like I made some relatively decent choices some nights, but there was some nights I was eating chicken strips and french fries.
But I mean, I still don't think that's that bad.
Exactly.
It could be way worse.
Right.
I could be having cheesecake and chicken Alfredo.
True. So it's been great. And I honestly too, for me personally, like the feeling that I can understand my hunger cues now.
Yeah.
And I know very distinctly when I'm emotionally eating versus I'm ravenous and I am like have restricted too hard and then I just want to eat the fucking pantry.
Right.
Like there's a difference, right? Because I'm satiated. I feel fine. I'm eating every few hours. I'm still eating, you know, like a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
But much to Amanda's point, I'm doing something very similarly where through the week I'm pretty much on track. We're not really going out to eat during the week.
No.
I am tonight, but you know, this is kind of like a random exception, but it's usually the weekend.
Yeah.
But we don't lose it completely on the weekends to where we're like, oh, fuck, I'm 6 pounds heavy Monday. I got to redo this all over again.
No.
You know?
What I think the smallest I was 153. And that was 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
We had my birthday. We went out the next weekend. We went out again last weekend. So I'm just kind of like hovering right here, right above the 150s. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it.
And then as far as like my training stuff, for me personally, like I've been really finding the last probably 2 months that I do way much better when I'm training 4 days, maximum 5 days.
Right.
Versus 6.
Yeah. It's too many.
Yeah. So, you know, and people would ask, you know, like, oh, well, why aren't you doing 6 or whatever? Don't you, once you do 6, you always have to do 6? Not really. Like, I'm not trying to be massively huge with my muscles. Like, I'm just trying to go in. I'm trying to like stimulate, not annihilate. And I don't have a show coming up, so I'm not like super concerned with little intricacies of all the little things like I normally would getting ready for a show.
Yeah.
So for me, I just want to feel great in a bathing suit, in my jeans, in a swimsuit, in a dress, whatever, naked as fuck.
Yeah.
Is probably my
I was
first
waiting
preference.
for that.
But and for me, that just means like 160 feels fucking great.
Yeah.
And I have a photo shoot coming up. It's my 45th birthday. And I'm like, I'm going to Black Sand Beach. I'm going to be topless and
pepperoni's on display.
My pepperoni's are going to be on display, like all the things. I'm like, it's great. It's a great spot to be in. And I feel really sound in the mind with food.
I think this is really something to say though, as like we are really getting super okay with our body.
Yes.
We've built it to where we can make it look how we like. And we also are feeling comfortable no matter if we're lean and ready on stage, which I'm going to tell you right now, we're not comfortable then. And we probably don't like our body at all then.
Yes.
Okay. Halfway there, I think is a good spot for us.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy in the winter is just fun for us.
Yes. So I'm training about 4 days a week. And I'm going to give you a little more insight to that, right? Like I have a long training history. I've been training, I mean, realistically, definitely for the last 12 or 13 years, consistently without missing probably more than just like my boobie surgery or when I was in the hospital with the vid. Okay.
Right.
But like other than that, maybe like a week here or there, but like it'd have to be some like really specific reason. So I've been training for a very fucking long time. Okay.
Yeah.
some of that on PEDs, some of it not on PEDs. I have a decent base of muscle. I'm not trying to do anything crazy there or like turn into a bodybuilder, and competing in the women's bodybuilding division. So I'm literally doing it for selfish aesthetic reasons.
Yeah.
Literally pun intended, aesthetic. Okay.
Super important.
Yeah. So lower body is generally 3 days a week and upper is once. And sometimes if I miss upper, I'm not sad about it.
No.
I'm like, I have enough upper mass.
Fine.
I would rather start to shrink my upper and have my lower look bigger because I'm kind of an upside down triangle all my life.
No, not anymore.
I know, all my life.
I don't know.
But not as much anymore. It's definitely improved. So there's that, my training. And then cardio, I'm not even going to lie. I am not on her level with the cardio.
Tell me what you're realistically doing. Because I know you're still doing things.
Yes.
But
I'm getting consistently 8,000 steps, which is nothing compared to you.
It's great.
But we're just keeping my eyes on my own paper.
Listen,
okay?
Like I said, anybody who is starting to track their steps for the first time, if you're at 3,000 a day, try and get 4.
Right.
Like 8,000 is great. Okay. I am just crazy. And at over 20,000
You have
steps
never
is
told
wild.
me that 8,000 steps is great ever. I'm so glad this is on recording.
I mean, I feel like you've been
Here
less.
comes here. Oh, I thought you were saying I feel like you could do better.
You've
I'm like,
been
you're probably
less,
right.
and I do know that you could do better.
Totally, but I don't want to.
Well, then
right?
8,000 is your goal.
For me, what's the sacrifice, right? Like, is the juice worth
Another
the squeeze?
15 minutes of walking.
Another 15 minutes of walking that pushes my whole, like it's all the gymnastics that needs to happen for that. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I would like to, but if not, I'm not going to stress my dick over it.
No.
Okay. So I'm getting about 8,000 steps a day, which sounds like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But I sit behind a screen most of the time.
Yeah.
And then for machine cardio, usually we've ran a couple times.
We have ran a couple times. I know we didn't say that, but we have ran a couple times.
We have been doing that.
It actually feels really good. And the funny thing is I was like, it's easier than the Stairmaster.
Yeah. So I was doing pretty good with the Stairmaster for a while up until probably we started running. So right now it's been either the running or high incline walking.
Right.
Really.
You haven't been on the stairs?
I haven't been on the stairs in probably like a week.
Okay.
But I've been so sore. The workouts have been so good.
Yeah.
That and Tara's been Tara's, it's fun training with both of you because it's a different vibe each time, right? It's just the different personalities and the different workouts. But with Tara, she likes to go first. And then when she's done, she slaps a bunch of weight on there and doesn't give me a fucking choice. Okay. So that's been fun. So yeah, so that's my cardio. And then my diet, working with Nikki, she gave me a meal plan. And, I'm like the worst possible client ever when I'm not competing. That's comes down to the truth.
I feel like it's just the curse that you kind of know how to undo what you've already done.
Yeah. And it's I know what I'm doing. I'm not like that. I know what I'm doing, but I'm like, okay.
You know that you're either doing the things or you're not doing
right.
the things.
I'm doing the meal plan probably 85%.
That goes for anybody that has a coach that's either listening or not. Okay.
Right.
That's what the check-in is for. The check-in is for you.
Yes.
And the check-in is also secondly for the coach. So the coach can be like, okay, come on.
Yeah. Right.
Or fuck yeah, let's go. Keep going.
Yeah. And I almost, what's weird is I almost feel more pressured now that I don't have a coach, which is the weird fucking paradigm shift.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to do that. I was like, watch you lose fucking 10 pounds in 3 weeks right now.
I was like, I feel like I have something to prove now.
Yeah, you do. I know you do.
She can keep her shit together. But I wasn't even doing the shit.
No,
so it's
not.
It's whatever. But yeah, it's the food's just I'm not tracking my macros. Okay?
What are we eating?
She's breakfast, I'm not.
So she's intuitively eating, but the fact that we've been doing this for so long, tracking macros, bodybuilding, meal plans, all of that, she knows what to eat.
Yeah.
She can tell you pretty much what the macros are in any meal, basically.
I'm like Superman. I look at a meal and I'm like, 400 calories, 28 grams of protein. That's how it happens in my head. When I look at plates, and I'm not judging people, but I'll be looking at stuff and I'm like, oh, that's probably
I'll be like, ooh, can I have
calories.
that? Can I have that? Nope. Can't have that. Nope. Yep. Oh, I can have that.
Food for me, I'm using Fit Kitchen sometimes.
Yeah.
If I can snack some meals, I've been doing that at the studio. I just like to use Fit Kitchen or any meal prep service for those of you out there listening, because I don't have to fucking think about it. I'm not in my feelings about what I'm eating. Oh, I don't feel like eating that. I don't do that anymore. Like, yes, sometimes I'm like, I really don't want to eat that, but I just eat it because I'm like, I'll have something fun later for dinner. Like, I'll let my creative juices flow later.
You know what? I was just saying this in a check-in the other day. I was like, listen, my breakfast and my lunch is pretty fucking boring.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to be like having this euphoric breakfast. Like, I got shit to do. Okay. I need to get it in and I need to fucking move ahead.
Right.
And so my dinners are always the ones that are usually much more fun with macros.
Yes.
But even with that, especially during the week, as busy as we are, I love just being able to fucking scoop and go. I'm having a salad with some sort of protein and vegetable on it. I might throw a fucking fried egg on it. Maybe I'm going to have, rice cakes and chicken today. I don't know. I can just switch it out as I see fit,
Yeah. I was on like the breakfast sandwich kick. Remember when Roger was stealing my sandwiches?
That's what you get for leaving it on the counter.
Little asshole. But yes, I was on a breakfast sandwich kick. And then really I have to, right now, my focus has been like a struggle, which we've talked about on the podcast, I think before. I'm just having a real hard time focusing. When I start working, I'm fine. But when I'm not working and I'm trying to like do all these other things, it's like a lot of distraction.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that being said, I have had to set timers on my phone because
for your meal times.
Yeah. I mean, the other day I trained clients and then I went and trained with Tara. I came home. I had a meeting that I like flew into on Zoom. And like before I look at the time, I'm like, fuck, it's 11:30 and I have not eaten today. This is bodybuilding sin right now.
It happens.
It's bodybuilding sin.
It happens.
Committed sin.
But it should not be a thing.
It shouldn't be a thing, but it just goes to show you that like where I'm at now versus where I was even like a year ago or 2 years ago, where I would have been like fixated on the fact that I could not eat before any of this stuff had happened.
Right.
Where I'm like, it's not like I'm good. I have enough fat to last me a while. Like I'm not starving, you know?
I mean, I think one thing too that's really great using that as like a trick is, for me, I could just aimlessly snack without even really noticing.
Snacks are great.
They are great, but in the morning and mid-afternoon is not the best time for me to have them.
No.
So, yeah, I need to have them at nighttime.
They cock block your macros.
Yeah, they do. So, I always eat at like 8. I always eat at noon-ish. And then I usually have a pre-workout and then a post-workout.
Yeah. And I feel like if
they're on time.
And if I feel like if people can get into a rhythm with their food and their mealtime, they would have so much more success with so many things like headaches, energy, mood, strength in the gym, like digestion, all like so many things.
I just had this conversation. One of my returning clients, she was like, okay, I really need help with meal times. And I go, okay, listen, you need to remind me about your day. Like, when are you waking up? When are you going to work? When is your break time? When is lunchtime? That is already making your schedule for you.
Yeah.
Use that.
Right.
Start there.
Yes.
And then work from there.
That's such a great basic blueprint.
There you go.
Yeah. And I find that it makes such a difference when I'm not on schedule with those things. Mm-hmm. My training is shit. My sleep is shit if I'm eating too late or I'm snacking too late or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's a great tip for you to just start getting in a routine with your meal timing because it's super important.
Yeah. I also use the alarms as a fact of being like, no, listen, you just had breakfast.
Right.
You don't need to eat until this lunch alarm goes off.
Right. So she's saying like she sets her alarms and in her brain,
snacks.
She's like, oh, I want a snack. And she's like,
you don't need a snack.
Pavlov's bell is not gone off. Ding, ding, ding.
Nope, not happening yet. It's not mealtime. So, yeah, I mean, it really helps, honestly, especially too, because I have more meal or snacks at nighttime. So even with that, I have to be careful. So there's like a 9 p.m. cutoff. If you're not having your snacks by then, bitch, you're done. Go to bed.
Oh,
right.
You set a rule for yourself.
There is a rule. Yeah.
I love that.
I'm usually trying to be in bed by that alarm, honestly.
Up
but
4 a.m. for sure.
It doesn't always happen.
Yeah. So meal timing is super important. And then like, for dinner, I'm usually like I've been on this like kick since Nikki actually did have this in my meal plan. So I'm following a lot of the stuff that she had in there anyways, but was these organic flour tortillas.
Mm-hmm.
And I have like my extra lean ground beef, my little guacamole cups. I'm literally having that almost every night for dinner.
Yeah.
And
Love that.
it's
I have
good.
some
I'll get some
my
different
fridge.
salsas and like mix it up a little bit. If I don't have guac, sometimes I'll use like a low-fat pepper jack cheese.
Totally add lettuce for free, y'all. I
Yeah.
add mushrooms. I even put my vegetables in my tacos. I know that sounds weird,
No, I do that shit.
but it's so good. And like whenever I order tacos from like the Mexican restaurant, I order a side of fajita veggies and put them on my tacos.
Yeah, it's a really
So
great
bomb.
idea. I think, bottom line with the foods that I'm choosing now, like not being in prep, but just wanting to get like, I have this photo shoot coming up. We're going to be in Vegas, all the things. When I look at a meal or I order something, particularly like out, when I'm going out, I'm like, how is that going to make me feel after I eat it? Like physically feel, not like, oh, I hate myself for eating this meal, but like, am I going to feel good? Is my stomach going to feel a wreck? Am I going to feel bloated? Am I going to feel overly stuffed? And I noticed that I hate the feeling of feeling overly stuffed.
Mm.
And when I was coming out of shows, that's all I craved was like, I just want to feel full. And it never happened. And so now it's happening. And I'm like, okay, Diane, you hate that feeling. So we need to stop right here.
Yeah.
And like, I just now have an awareness around that.
Yeah, I have a lot of people that are actually going on vacation like in the next couple of weeks and whatnot. And they're like, well, how do I get around this? And I'm like, okay, so like when you're having breakfast, try not to have any sweets, right? Whenever we went to Mexico, I would have an egg white omelet and I would have a quarter of a waffle with some sugar-free syrup, and that was fruit and whatever, and that was beautiful. I saved our calories for dinner and cocktails and things like that. So, and then another thing too is just you don't stuff yourself so full that you feel like trash.
Yeah.
And if you can be like, okay, I've eaten, give yourself about 5 minutes before you decide if you're going to go in for seconds, especially if it's a buffet.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
All right. And then, usually what I would do is I would save that one thing for dessert.
I have like a whole buffet strategy.
Okay.
Like when I go, like, cause
that's kind of, probably along the lines.
Yeah. When we went to Mexico it was December. I don't know.
Yeah.
We weren't trying to like be good then, but like I always just have a buffet strategy. Like when I go, I take a lap, we look around.
Yes.
Kind of figure,
you have to look
Crystal
at
and I, when we
first.
were in Vegas, she's like, oh, this is supposed to be like a really good buffet. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about buffet food, but the Vegas buffets are totally like
they're
a whole situation.
Yeah.
And so I like peruse around. I kind of see what's there. I don't gravitate towards like the first thing that like I know I want.
Waffles and pancakes.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, let me be responsible first.
Egg white omelet.
Get some kind of protein-based situation in, maybe a little bit of fruit and some veggies, and then assess the situation.
Yes.
What do I physically have room for? And what is worth the calories?
And if you take any of those little pastries and you're like, it's not very good, don't finish it.
Right.
Don't finish it.
And we don't waste food in this family, but when you have something that's not good, don't eat it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
No, I don't do that.
Mm-mm.
We spit it out. Okay. What have we forgotten? Oh, what are we doing? What are we doing now? We got a couple weeks.
I'm going to keep on keeping on. We're supposed to go to Tahoe this weekend. So I'm like already having a little bit of a game plan. I kind of want to bring some food.
Okay, because you stay in a cabin, right?
Yeah, we stay at our family cabin. There is a brunch place that I really love. So I'm thinking like dinner out the one night will probably be chicken breast and French fries.
That's my thing. I got you guys on a thing.
Chicken breast and French fries.
An influencer. You guys, like if you haven't had chicken strips and French fries, like just do it once when you go to an adult dinner. It's like so liberating.
It's actually pretty
You're like,
great.
Look at me. I'm 45 eating my fucking chicken strips and French fries.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
It's good.
Yeah. I love it.
So that's going to be like my mini cheat, but I'm definitely going to be having brunch
Right.
on Saturday. So
I am going to go to 1,000 calories for, no, I'm just kidding. I'm going to keep doing me.
yeah.
And just keep lifting heavy. And I might bump up my cardio a little bit if I'm feeling froggy and my recovery feels okay.
Yeah.
I might add in some more cardio and bump up my steps to like probably 12K.
Whoa.
I know I can do it. It's just I have to get out and walk my dog and, that whole situation.
Yeah. Roger.
Make
sure she takes you.
Yeah, he'll tell me. But getting in my cardio, my training is never really a question. That's always going to happen. And then really just keeping an eye on continuing to be mindful with my food choices.
Do you feel like you're eating a good amount of carbs, maybe a light amount of carbs? How many carbs do you think you're eating a day since you're intuitive?
If I had to guess.
On a good day.
On a good day when I'm
like
not.
You've been good. You're eating pretty much meal planning.
Probably like 220, 250.
Great. Wow.
If I had to guess.
That's amazing.
With like my PM, because I'll do like a yogurt bowl at nighttime.
Right.
With a Greek yogurt, a couple tablespoons of chocolate chips, 4 thin Oreos, the skinny Oreos. And yeah,
my New York baddies, they do those little protein fluff bowls at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And
I don't do the fluff because the stuff kind of hurts my stomach. So I just will do Greek yogurt, sometimes a sugar-free Jell-O, and then mix it all up and it's wonderful.
Yeah, I haven't really been having anything like super crazy for like my nighttime snack. It's been either like sweet rice cakes, and I just have lightly salted rice cakes. I put some stevia, some cinnamon, and some salt on there. Maybe some, I can't believe it's not butter.
Fake butter.
Yeah, and it's great.
Awesome.
Gets me there. Gets me to bed.
Well, I think we said all the things. Are there questions that you have that you want to go over? What you got?
Okay. What, if anything, are you finding challenging at the moment? If I'm being honest, I'm going to say that my schedule is busy. It's busy.
So,
I'm like just doing all the things, but I feel like I'm just like one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And then it's like, go to sleep, wake up, one thing to the next. And the next.
Yeah. I think for me, it's, I genuinely would like to work out longer because, I like to work. I like to be in the gym like for an hour and a half ish at least, but I'm not prioritizing the cardio. I'm just like, it's not that important to me. Like, so I probably would like to prioritize that more. I feel
okay.
Yeah.
How is the cut going? I'm tired of not eating enough sucks. Well, that's why we are not quite digging that deep.
Right.
We don't want it to suck as much.
Yeah. I mean, if you are dieting like as a lifestyle client, listen, if you're an athlete or contest prep person, I want to hear it. Okay.
Do your shit.
It's going to fucking hurt. I'm sorry if somebody's told you that prep is some amazing, like glorious experience and you get to eat all kinds of food and parade on stage like super skin peeled. That's just generally not the reality.
If you ever see, if you ever see more than one bikini competitor in a room at one time when they're not ready for show day, you will see who is eating carbs on prep and who is not eating carbs on prep.
Yeah, because they're like, they're a little spacey, a little tired. Because it does that to you, wipes you out. But yeah, I mean, as a lifestyle client, sometimes, you have to get into these uncomfortable spots and you will be a little bit hungry if you're trying to lose body fat and you're not used to that feeling. It can be a little alarming, but it does come, a lot of times with the dieting process. It doesn't have to. I mean, there's a ton of ways, hacks and things that we've talked about on the podcast over the years.
Speaking of weird prep food combinations, hacks, what are your go-tos and inventions?
Oof.
Sweet cucumbers, cinnamon and sugar on your cucumbers, sweet egg whites.
Mm-hmm.
Put stevia in your egg whites with your rice if you have rice.
There's so many hacks, and
if you're close to show, don't be doing all that sweet shit.
Yeah,
it fucks you up. It makes you want more sweet shit.
It is.
Just saying.
I do think there is some validity to that statement. The more that you try to get creative with the foods, the worse off you end up being.
We have cute little Kaylin. She makes little prep nuts, which is basically her oats, her egg whites.
Yeah.
And she bakes them in little donut
and
shapes.
It gives her so much joy.
Great.
And it's
Steph
fine.
came in the other day. She said she made pancakes out of her oatmeal or whatever. And she was like, it was amazing. And I'm like, there you go. Yeah. That's what you do. You just kind of have to like see how you can put things together differently.
Yeah.
So another thing is like if you have rice cakes and guacamole or avocado, fucking avocado toast, bro.
Yeah.
Did
avocado
you know
toast.
that?
Yeah.
Did you know that? Okay.
Yeah, I did.
What are you currently eating or swapping out? There's a couple of combinations for you that we just gave you. And then what is the best thing to do when you hit a plateau? How long have you been plateaued? Is it really a plateau? How good are you tracking your macros? Are you hitting your cardio? Is it the same intensity every time you go? How hard are you hitting it in the gym? I need a lot more information.
Yeah, there's so many variables that can kick you out of a plateau, and we usually try to like decode that as our clients are checking in, right? You know, if a client checks in and like things aren't changing and I'm like, okay, well, you have only been getting like 5 hours of sleep for the last 2 weeks because you're moving or you have a new job or something like that. And like shit's not moving and they're freaking out because the scale's not moving. And I'm like, you've been stressed the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like your body gives zero fucks about the fact that you're stressed because it's like danger is imminent. Let's not lose. That's not a priority right now. We're defending the stress. And, you know, cortisol is probably high and some things are probably off. So there's 1,000,001 reasons why you can plateau. And you know, usually helps if you have a coach, a good coach who can do some digging and questioning and detective work to help you figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't expect your first encounter of your coach to know what's happening.
No, it takes time.
We need to know your body for a little while before that happens.
For sure. So
Did you get some questions?
Yeah, but we answered a lot of them in the pool and the other ones aren't relative to this topic. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was pleasant.
That was fun.
I fell in the pool.
Oh my gosh, we forgot to tell them.
Yeah. My hair was done and everything.
We get here, she looks all cute, like she washed her hair for the first time in 100 years.
I did.
And we're having this conversation, and then all of a sudden, I'm like looking over her, I'm like, I wonder if she knows how close she is to the pool.
You bet you didn't even tell me.
I figured you knew. And then all of a sudden, me and sister are sitting there, and you were just like, oh. And boom.
I totally fucking fell and went all the way under with a freshly coiffed hairdo.
It really did fuck up your hair, honestly.
It did. And I have a date in like 30 minutes. We're going to see what we can make happen.
It's fine.
Yeah. I was talking with my hands. I was very passionate about the subject.
You were.
And I was just pacing and talking with my hands like a good Portuguese princess. And I just splash.
It was actually really great. I wish we would have been videoing it because it was
my daughter's face was priceless.
So funny.
All right, y'all. We love you to the moon and back. Thank you for listening. Remember. Leave a 5-star rating and review.
Yeah.
Peace.
Tag us in your posts.
Yeah.
Bye.
Boss bitch. Thank you for listening to Boss Bitch Radio. It would mean the world to me if you could rate and review the podcast. If you could give us a 5-star review on iTunes, drop us a little comment. We will read those, and we offer prizes as a ethical bribe for you to leave us some great mojo and words of affirmation. You know that is my love language. And also, if you're over on Spotify, you can rate and review it there as well. All of this helps other women, other people, other folks see us, hear us, and learn from all of the amazing boss bitch tools and hacks, and hopefully get some LOLs. And if not, if anything, if you could share this with one person, I'd love you forever. And I know you are just here for my undying love. And last but not least, please come find me over on Instagram so we can be buddies. We can be Insta fam over there. I am Diane Flores _IFBB_pro. Come say hi, drop me a DM, let me know what you think of the podcast. I'm always open for new suggestions and feedback as well. And I hope you listen again soon.